The true reason behind Lee Sun-kyun's suicide. Actor Lee Sun-kyun, who was under investigation by the police for alleged drug use, was found dead on the 27th in a park in Jongno-gu, Seoul. According to the police, at 10:12 a.m. on that day, a police report was received stating the husband wrote a note similar to a will and left home. There was contact until yesterday. The car is also missing. The police conducting a search found the man's vehicle in Waryong Park in Jongno-gu at 10:30 a.m. The man inside the vehicle was unconscious and a charcoal briquette was found in the passenger seat. A firefighter stated it was determined that he was dead, so he was not transferred to the hospital for treatment. Since October 2023, Lee had been under investigation by the police for multiple instances of inhaling and ingesting marijuana and other drugs at his residence and entertainment establishments, which constitutes the violation of Narcotics Control Act. In this video, we aim to analyze the progress of the investigation, search out the reasons behind Lee Sun-kyun's suicide in relation to the police investigation process. Lee's suspicion of drug use became public on October 19th when the police announced that a famous actor is under preliminary investigation for violating drug control laws. The police secured a statement from a hostess at an entertainment establishment in Gangnam, Seoul, claiming that Lee had used drugs. The Incheon Metropolitan Police Agency's Narcotics Crime Investigation Unit also stated that among the 8 individuals under preliminary investigation in October, one of them was Lee. The police officially declared Lee a suspect on October 23rd and conducted the first round of questioning on October 28th. Meanwhile, Lee counterclaimed, stating, "I was threatened in connection with this case and lost 350 million Korean won. I filed a complaint against A and another hostage manager, B, for coercion." Lee reportedly quickly obtained cash through acquaintances and gave 300 million Korean won to B and 50 million Korean won to A. However, Lee received negative results in both the simple urine test and the National Forensic Service's first and second detailed examinations. In the second investigation on November 5th, Lee claimed innocence, stating, "A deceived me in this case." The last investigation before Lee's death took place on December 23rd, where he maintained his position that he used sleeping pills, not drugs, via straw. After the third investigation, Lee expressed, "Although it's a bit late, as a victim of the coercion case, I have completed filing a complaint. I asked the police to judge well which statement among mine and the coercers is credible." He also submitted a request for a polygraph, which is a lie detector test, through his lawyer on the 26th. On October 28th, Lee attended the police for the first time and apologized, saying, "I sincerely apologize for causing disappointment to many people in this unfortunate incident. I feel sorry for the families enduring great pain at this moment." Since early this year, Lee had been accused of using various drugs, including marijuana, at the home of a hostess at a bar. While admitting to drug use during police questioning, he claimed it was unintentional, believing it was a sleeping pill. In the police investigation, Lee admitted to using a straw to inhale drugs, but insisted that it was not narcotics like ketamine, but rather sleeping pills. He acknowledged 4 out of 5 meeting dates mentioned by A, but claimed to have misunderstood and only mistakenly consumed sleeping pills once. A, in her police statement, mentioned witnessing Lee inhaling ketamine using a straw and claimed that he became curious about it, asked for it, and used it after she provided it. Furthermore, Lee, claiming to be a victim, accused A and another hostess, B, of coercion in connection with this case. He urgently arranged cash through a friend and gave 300 million Korean won to B and 50 million Korean won to A. However, B countered, stating, "I was also threatened by someone who doubted my relationship with Lee through social networking services. I don't know who that person is." In essence, Lee Sun-kyun was also a victim of extortion by A. Subsequent investigations were conducted on Lee on November 5th, second investigation, and December 23rd, which was third investigation. The public's reaction was truly unbelievable. Given that Lee Sun-kyun was a globally loved star with a righteous and family-friendly image, most people found it hard to believe that he could be involved in a relationship with a hostess, a room salon madame, let alone a drug-related incident. Lee Sun-kyun had enjoyed top-tier popularity, winning the Best Picture award for his role in Parasite at the 2020 Academy Awards. This year, the honor of having two films starring Lee invited to the Cannes International Film Festival was also celebrated. With Lee Sun-kyun entangled in drug use allegations, emergency measures were taken for his upcoming projects. The release of the film Land of Happiness and Escape Project Silence was indefinitely postponed as their shooting had already been completed. Additionally, Lee Sun-kyun's confirmed participation in No Way Out was also delayed, even though the first shoot was imminent. Brands for which Lee Sun-kyun had modeled also suspended their advertisements. A telecommunications company's educational content brand, where Lee and his wife Jeon Hae-jin had modeled together, halted advertising. Recently, actor Yoo Ah-in, who was prosecuted for drug-related charges, compensated approximately 10 billion Korean won in damages. Typically, advertising contracts include clauses stating that if an entertainer's personal actions make achieving the advertising purpose difficult or impossible, a penalty will be paid. Therefore, it is anticipated that Lee Sun-kyun, facing controversies, will have to pay a substantial penalty, especially considering his involvement in ongoing advertising campaigns. However, when a suspect dies, the criminal case is concluded due to a lack of jurisdiction, and in civil cases, if the involved party dies, the case is also concluded. Nevertheless, if the contract includes a clause where Lee Sun-kyun's agency or business associates jointly compensate for the penalty, the controversy may not be over. However, here comes a twist. Lee attended the police for the first time on October 28th for questioning. However, Lee's simple urine test became back negative. The police explained that the simple urine test shows a reaction within 5 to 10 days if drugs were used during that period. Otherwise, the result may be negative. In the case of hair, about 100 strands were collected and submitted for precise examination at the National Forensic Service. The results were consistently negative for all strands. Considering Lee's hair length at the time of examination, 8 to 10 centimeters, which takes about a month to grow 1 centimeter, it suggests that Lee had not used drugs for approximately 8 to 10 months. However, since it became known that Lee Sun-kyun had given 350 million Korean won to the hostage under coercion, there is still the possibility that he used drugs before that period. In the second investigation on November 5th, Lee expressed his injustice stating, "A deceived me." In a subsequent re-interrogation, he claimed, "A deceived me and gave me something," asserting that he did not know it was drugs. On November 24th, results from the armpit hair test also came back negative. After the third investigation on December 26th, Lee submitted a statement through his lawyer requesting a lie detector test, emphasizing that the evidence related to his drug use suspicion was solely based on the statement of the hostess A. He sought to determine the credibility of various claims through a lie detector test. Meanwhile, the Incheon Metropolitan Police Agency's Narcotics Crime Investigation Unit, which was also prosecuted G-Dragon for drug-related charges in October, ultimately dismissed the case on December 18th, stating no charges. G-Dragon, like Lee Sun-kyun, received negative results in both the simple urine test and the National Forensic Service's detailed examinations. With actor Lee Sun-kyun passing away during the investigation into drug use allegations, criticism is being directed towards the police. The police faced criticism for relying solely on the statement of the room salon manager, a hostess, and also a six-time offender with a history of involvement in drugs and other crimes, without securing concrete evidence to support the case against a well-known actor. Critics also point out that in the absence of clear evidence, the police leaked information about the investigation to the media from the early stages, causing setbacks to the investigation. At the time, the police were at the internal investigation stage based on intelligence. Despite this, the fact that the renowned actor who could cause a significant impact was involved in the case leaked to the public. Cases where the names of individuals under investigation fluctuate so prominently from the early stages are uncommon. A week later, news also broke about singer G-Dragon, real name Kwon Ji-young, being under police investigation for drug use. Although G-Dragon was eventually cleared of charges, the damage to his image had already occurred. However, after such a prolonged investigation, only 2 hostesses and 1 composer were sent to the prosecution. On December 23rd, during his 3rd police attendance, Lee Sun-kyun underwent an intense overnight investigation that lasted for 19 hours. Some voices claim that the situation where his identity had been mentioned since the early stages might have put significant pressure and stress on the deceased. The main reason Lee Sun-kyun's case did not conclude with a non-indictment, unlike G-Dragon, was due to his connection with the entertainment established hostesses. By continuously hinting at a relationship between them, the police pressured Lee Sun-kyun, and despite negative drug test results, statements about his relationship with the hostesses continued, dealing a fatal blow to his image. Lee Sun-kyun, who was known in the entertainment industry as a beloved actor and a good father, faced a downfall in his image after being implicated in drug allegations involving multiple private meetings with the manager of an entertainment establishment, a room salon madame. Particularly given his portrayal of a morally upright adult in My Mister, the disappointment towards him was even more profound. However, the police investigation process has also faced considerable criticism. There are voices of criticism suggesting that the situation where his real name was mentioned due to police media play from the internal investigation stage may have acted as significant pressure and stress on the deceased. Lee Sun-kyun wrote, "Blackmailed by Gangnam Entertainment established manager B, I was threatened and extorted over 300 million won." He reported to the police, but instead the focus shifted more towards Lee Sun-kyun's drug and solicitation allegations. Even before being investigated by the police, the information about the alleged crime was leaked to the media, and when the preliminary urine test result came out negative, articles emerged suggesting that a detailed examination was necessary. After a negative result in the detailed examination, reports surfaced suggesting that a leg hair test should be conducted, and even after that came out negative, there were reports claiming that a new type of drug might not be detected. Police investigation broke the rule by publicly summoning Lee Sun-kyun 3 times, setting up a photo line each time from the internal investigation stage. This is uncommon, as generally, in cases involving public figures like entertainers or politicians, public summoning is done when necessary, especially during the initial summons or if the suspect needs to make a statement. The detailed information of the police investigation was broadcast live, which is rare and has raised concerns about the premature nature of the police response. Lee Sun-kyun's suspicion of drug use was publicly disclosed from the internal investigation stage, and subsequent statements made during the investigation process were reported in a provocative manner. Article 126. A person involved in the functions related to prosecution, police, or other crime investigation activities who discloses the facts of a suspected crime that they become aware of during their duties before the request for public trial can be punished by imprisonment or suspension of qualifications. A. The hostage who handed drugs to Lee Sun-kyun claimed in a police investigation that Lee Sun-kyun used drugs a total of 5 times, including October 27th of last year. In response, the police identified 4 incidents by comparing A's statement with CCTV footage, text messages, taxi records, and other evidence. The problem is that parts of the police investigation regarding Lee Sun-kyun were broadcasted as news in 3 separate instances. There was even a report during the last summons stating he used a straw to inhale it through his nose. The detailed coverage of the police investigation seems to have cornered him psychologically. Why did the police engage in such aggressive media play? Although Lee Sun-kyun was initially treated as a suspect and underwent an investigation, the situation took a turn after both a preliminary urine test and a precise examination of hair samples by the National Forensic Service yielded negative results. The situation became even more peculiar as the case against G-Dragon, who had also been converted to a suspect in drug administration, was concluded without charges. This is significant as it is a situation where one of the well-known top stars, amidst the controversy involving most of them, has been declared innocent. There may have been pressure within the police force to prove the allegations against the remaining top star, Lee Sun-kyun. According to the human rights protection rules on police investigations, investigations involving suspects or those related to the case cannot be conducted between 9 p.m. and 6 a.m. the next day. In cases where overnight investigations are unavoidable due to the nature of the case, consent from the suspect can be obtained. On that day, the police appear to have obtained Lee Sun-kyun's consent. However, criticism seemed inevitable regarding the consent of the investigation on that day. After the third interrogation, Lee Sun-kyun expressed his sense of injustice through legal representatives. Regarding some criticisms of coercive investigation, the police explained legal representatives of Mr. Lee attended all 3 summoning investigations and consent was obtained even during the overnight interrogations. Although Lee Sun-kyun was investigated as a suspect, the situation changed after both the preliminary urine test and the detailed examination by the National Forensic Service returned negative results. The circumstances became more peculiar as another top star, G-Dragon, who was also suspected of drug use, was cleared of charges. In a situation where the names of most familiar celebrities were mentioned, one remained without charges, putting pressure on the police to prove Lee Sun-kyun's suspicions. The subsequent revelation of the police investigation content, stating drug inhalation may have further cornered him. In 2023, Lee Sun-kyun, who reached the peak of his acting career, experienced a roller coaster-like year, hitting rock bottom due to personal issues. Despite pleading, "I didn't know it was drugs," until the end, he took his own life, concluding not only his life but also his acting career.